Just hours ago, and it's a great team win for us. And you talk about a football team that is a very unselfish football team. You look at just the way we played last night, and I just look at that quarterback position. You look at Swoops, who's a senior, then you look at a true freshman in Bouchelle, and the way they battled and the way they competed the whole all season, even from the day one when Bouchelle walked on this campus in January, you knew there was going to be a furious competition there. You look at it early, I would have said probably 3 weeks ago the Swoops had the upper hand, and then as they continue to go and you continue to battle, and then you just watch Bouchelle, then it came about consistency. And then you take a player like a Hurd, and Hurd came to me probably a week into it, and he says, "Hey, Coach, I want to help this football team. I think I have a lot of ability, and I don't want to sit on the bench." And I said, "Well, you pick the position, and I go tell the position coach that's where you're going to go." He said, "I want to play wide receiver." And you look at that catch he made last night. I was laughing at him because I told him a guy ran him down. He always talk about he can run. But it was just fun to watch, and because when I talk about selfishness, and you look at those three guys and the way they competed, and then Swoop having a conversation with Bouchelle, just telling him, "Listen, I'm behind you. I want you to do good, and I know I'm gonna get a chance to play," which he had his touches, end up with 3 touchdowns. And we do our walk there, and I said it last night. We do our walk before pregame meal, and I said to Swoops, I said, it's probably going to come down to it. Not that I'm a prophet. I said it's going to probably come down to you having to go make the play to go win this game for us. And I had made a decision that it was 3rd down, and we were going to go for it on 4th down. I was not going to kick a field goal and go into another overtime. I said, you get it close. If you get it close enough, we're going to go for it on 4th down, and we're going to win the game, and we're going to ride you. But it was just, to get that game into overtime, I think it's been, the first overtime game here probably ever. I don't know for sure about that, but just to see our team continue to battle. And even when they blocked that extra point and they ran it back to tie the game up, we had to kick the ball off from the 20-yard line and to get the ball kicked down there with Becker doing a good job of placing the football, and then our defense, we're having to go out. And even we had a chance there if we don't get the holding call and then we get a bad snap, we had a chance to go win the game at that point. But it was just like a 15-round heavyweight fight. We're taking our blows, they were taking their blows. We go up by 17, they go up by 4, and we just continue to battle. After the game in the locker room, I said probably last year, guys, we would have lost this game. I don't know if we would have had enough left in us to continue to go battle, and where we didn't lose our confidence, and we didn't lose our confidence. But there's a lot of things we need to get corrected. You look at the penalties; it was just a way to, we had 11 penalties, and some of them that, just foolish penalties. You just can't get personal foul penalties. You can't get block in the back penalties. You can't get the holding penalties, the chop penalty to stop the drive. And there's things that we can get corrected this week. Gave the players today off. We're going to get ready for UTEP. I know that they had a offense last week that had over 500 yards, a running back that ran for 200 yards himself. So it's going to be another challenge for our defense. But we just need to continue to build on it, and we need to continue to play with confidence. One game does not make a season. We know this, that we're still rebuilding. We want to make sure that each and every week we get better and better, and that we just making sure that, guys go play up to their ability and go play their very best. But it was a fun night last night. I know a lot of you haven't got much sleep. Probably I know I haven't, but it was just I was just so happy and so proud of our football team. A lot of individual efforts. In the locker room after the game, Deontay Foreman, a guy who really doesn't say much at all. You can see he's kind of coming into himself, having over 100 yards rushing. He said, he stood up and says, "Hey, I want everybody on this team. I want to give a big shout out to Tyrone Swoops. He's a guy that never complained. He's a senior. He never complains, and he goes out there tonight and wins this football game for us." And the whole team stood up and gave Tyrone a standing ovation. Then Perkins gets up there and he said, "Hey, I got a guy I want to give a shout out to. I want to give a shout out to Alex Anderson. I go down and Alex comes in the game and he plays well." But you're beginning to see that where guys have enough respect for one another on the team, where now they're feeling that they have enough confidence if something does happen, then someone else is the next man up. But I'm just so – it was a fun night, and then it was just fun to see how much fun they had in that locker room afterwards.
Hey, Coach, how do you get your guys to play with confidence, but still have that edge and that chip that maybe they had after last season?
You know what it is, Roger, and it's almost like you had an older group of guys, and you have 12 seniors, and then you have enough young guys who feel like they have the edge to them already, because a lot of them think they're a lot better than what they actually are, and it's been fun to watch. But the older guys have been able to just kind of manage those egos, and you know, and telling those guys, hey, listen, your turn is going to come. I know it's our turn now, but we need your help. And you've been getting that, especially from the leaders like Malik. He's going to be solid, and he's going to do everything that those guys ask him to do. Where, you know, when they need him to really talk to the younger guys, because we got a really good, strong group of young players. A lot of them didn't play last night. I think we may have played 8 true freshmen last night, and you know, Bouchel was the one that really played a major role. But it's going to be fun to just watch how we continue to manage that group of guys.
Stay in the middle, Dennis.
Coach, I know going into the season you were talking about consistency was key because you had some highs last year. What is it about this team? Because the guys seem to all to a man say, this is different. We're different. Do you sense, did you see something in that locker room last night?
You know what's different now, Dennis, and like if you look at us on offense, the defense feels like, hey, if we can get the ball back for our offense, we're going to go score a touchdown. And then the offense knows, hey, if we go get a stop from our defense, we're going to be able to score. Even when we were down, when we went into overtime and we held them, and so I said, you know, we had the choice. It's, what do you want to play? I said, we're going to play defense. I told our defense, listen, just hold them to 3 so our offense know how many points we need to go score. I said, we're going to score, just how many we need to go score to go win this football game. I said, we hold them to 3. We can hold it, you know, make them kick the field goal, then we're going to go score us a touchdown. And even our offensive players are saying this, hey, just hold them, guys. We're going to score a touchdown. And it's just that now they just feel like that, you know, when you have all 3 phases playing together, then you look at the way Dixon punted that ball. I mean, he flipped the field for us so many times last night that, you know, it could have been some big gains for them, but, you know, with the way he punted it and got us out of a lot of holes. But it's just the confidence that they have in one another. And you just see it happening because guys are now, you know, you always say to them, hey, I believe in you. You've got to believe in yourself, but believe in your teammates and trust one another. And it was, Colt wrote a letter. I don't know if a lot of you saw it, and he posted it, but I read it to the team yesterday. I gave each one of them a copy, and I read it to them yesterday at pregame meal. And it was just so funny how they all was just locked in and kind of, you know, just sitting there, because Coach said a lot of good things when he talked about when he was a young guy and how he had to go out and play for the first time, and just talking about, you know, just representing this university and then the nerves that he was going to have. And each one of them kind of just sat there because I gave it to them. Then some of them read it before the rest of the guys came in. But it was a great letter, and it was just so to hear a player that had already walked that walk and had been in that locker room. And now for him to say it, and now they have so much respect for Coach already, and now all of a sudden they're reading just how he was went through it all.
On your left, John.
Coach, was Swoops the only player you told would have an opportunity to win it at the game, and what was it about him that you saw?
You know what happened, John? Just the way the quarterback competition played out, and you look at a guy who had been a 2-year starter, and then we made the decision to go with the freshman, and I just sat him down and I said to him, I said, listen, it has nothing to do with you and it has nothing to do with your ability, but we're just going to go with the freshman here, and you have worked very hard. We have a package for you. You're going to play. And I think the 3rd series we did put him in, but I just – a lot of times when you have so much respect for a player and you want good things to happen for him, and that's why I said to him, like before the pregame meal, we was on our walk, and I said to him, I said, hey, listen, you're going to have a chance to go win this game for us. You will win this game. It's going to be a play that comes in this game that you're going to go win it. And then when we got it to the 4th quarter, you know, got to that second overtime, and he's like, listen, guys, we're going to win this football game. So the only thing, and the play that he scored on, we turned the linebacker loose. Number 5 comes just scot clean, and he make the guy miss him in the hole, and then somebody, you know, they try to hit him low, and then that's when he dove in for the touchdown. But just his whole competitive spirit, he doesn't. He never says anything. That's why I think Foreman made a big deal about it in the locker room after it. He never says anything. You say, Swoops, you okay? Yeah, Coach, I'm fine. I mean, come on, man, tell me what's going on. No, Coach, I'm fine. But it just shows just who he is and just his whole makeup and his whole character and what he's all about.
Charlie, what we saw last night with your quarterbacks, is that something in terms of the usage that can continue through the course of the season, and the fact that they seem to have slightly different skill sets, can that make it work?
Well, I think it can make it work, Chuck, just because of what you said, the last part of the skill set. And you look at Bouchel, one thing I told him, we don't need him running the football. You know, we just need you to stand back here and let's keep you protected. I don't need to see you taking off with it. But, you know, he can release the ball. Even Swoops, you know, the one that he threw, he released it down the field. But you have just two different packages. When you get down inside the goal line, I think Swoops has scored, 14 touchdowns here in the last 2 years in that 18-wheeler package. But it's a package that has been very successful for us, so we'll continue to use it.
On your right, Anwar.
Coach, can you maybe speak about the unselfish attitude that seems to permeate through your team? You've had Gerard and Kai switch positions. You've had Ty be extremely helpful to Shane, and then you've had a lot of the young guys, you know, the seniors have been able to be supportive of those guys.
You know, when I look at some of the guys, and we talk about just guys being unselfish, we take the field last night, and some of the, if you probably saw it, but I gave a lot of the guys a single digit. Like I didn't, and they didn't know until the game, before the game. Like I gave Bouchel 7, I gave Jake Oliver 6, I think I gave Colin 9, I gave Duvernay 2, and then I told Sherrod, I said, you're gonna wear number 1, and he says, Coach, I haven't been on the field in 3 years, and I said, and you're gonna start at corner. And you should, like the other DBs, like Houghton and all those guys were so supportive of him. And they was like, come on, man, we got you. You'll be fine. And just go play. But you just see just a totally different attitude. Because, you know, a lot of times guys that go the opposite way, then you can say, oh, God, here I got to worry about this guy's ego. But we haven't had that problem where you have to sit there and manage egos, because the seniors are doing a really good job of talking to the players. And like Vaccaro, Dillon goes down, Vaccaro goes in the game, misses the one tackle, but he plays very well. And it's just that guys know that, you know, even if something happens and the next guy comes, he's going to get support from whomever his backup. And that's the way why the quarterback position. You know, look at the running back position. You have 2 really good running backs, really 3, but you go 25 and you go 33, and those guys, you know, one is in, one is out. Neither one's over pouting. I'm not getting the ball. I'm not getting the touches. Hey, when my time comes, I'm going to get the chance to go run the football.
Front, Ricky.
Charlie, I'm wondering, did you still get your run in this morning? And then part 2 of the question is, what did you tell the guys about enjoying this, but especially on a short week, needing to kind of quickly refocus and get back to work?
Well, what I did today, Ricky, I treated today like it was a Sunday, and I usually don't run on Sunday, so I took but I did run yesterday. But you know, the guys, I gave them the day off, so we're going to treat it like like we're in game preparation. So I said, give our coaches time this evening to go break down UTEP and get a really good gauge, so when we come back to work tomorrow, we'll show them parts of this game, but we got to get on to the next game. And I think they realize that. And because I said, hey, it's a short week, and we know that, hey, we got another opponent coming in here. I don't want us to go out there and just slop around and just go through the motions. You know, let's go out there and let's give a great effort and let's go play our best. I said our fans want to see a good show. We owe it to them. They saw one last night, which was great. And I said that we need to continue to do that and be consistent about how we approach it.
Front, Dan.
Charlie, was there anything about Tyrone's performance last night that surprised you, or was this the Tyrone you expected and the Tyrone you'd seen in practice?
No, it's nothing surprised me about him, because that's what you see at practice. We don't let our defense hit him at practice, but you know, sometimes we get the ball down in the red zone and we put we call the 18-wheeler package out our offense, and he busts through there, and I always yell, I don't know, Tyrone. He said, Coach, go live, then you'll see I will hurt one of your guys. I said, that's what I don't want to see, but I'm not gonna let him run over one of my defensive backs out there. But no, that's what you see from him. He's just a big, strong, physical runner, and he can throw the football. We didn't have to throw it last night because we were just doing so good or just running it. And we wanted to make a statement where it was all about toughness, and it's about just controlling the line of scrimmage, being physical at the point of attack, and we knew that we could get that done with him with 33 in there, and then coming back and giving a little dose to Tyrone.
Stay in the front, Brian.
Charlie, when you're watching the film I mean, coaches, obviously, you always want to point out things that want to get corrected, but how many things did you see on the film where you mentally noted, hey, this was really good, we need to show the guys this? Because this is how we want it, and this was really good.
And that's what we do, Brian. Like what we would do with this game is what you just said. We won't show them the whole game, but we'll take out pieces of it. Like offensively, we're going to take out the big plays, and we're going to show them the big plays. And then on defense, we're going to show some plays where we play pretty well at times. But it's where you just got to just find those plays, and they're there. And because there was some really good plays. But you're right, as a coach, a lot of times you always look for the bad plays because you're like wondering, okay, how could that have happened? Because you're always looking for corrections. But there's enough good ones where we can find them and put them together and show them to our team.
Back right, Alex.
Charlie, what's impressed you the most about Sterling Gilbert?
The thing that Sterling has is he's just so calm, and he has so much confidence in himself and in his system. We go out there last night and they come back in, so I don't usually go out with the first wave. I wait for him to come back in. So he come back in and I said, how is it? He said, wow. I said, it's just the way it is. And I said, only thing you need to do is be yourself. Just go out, call it. You have enough around you. You have enough help with you. Every play is not going to be a perfect play. We're not going to score on every play. Just get us first downs, and then we take our shot. We're going to take a shot. But he just has so much confidence. And even our whole offensive staff believe in what he's doing. And our players, I mean, even because you look at our players, and when you have them over there, they know how quickly he's going to get the play in. And he's moving the ball around where enough guys are getting touches where it's not just going to one guy. But when you have that and then the players believe in the system, then it's going to work, obviously.
Rear on the left, Mike.
Charlie, you got on a plane to Oklahoma with the school president and the AD to get him in December. Is this kind of what you had imagined all along? And you talked about speeding it up the last couple of years. This year, it seems like he's finally doing what you wanted.
Well, the thing that's happened for us this year is that plus we have the speed that we can speed it up with, because if you look at the quarterback position with Bouchel and with Swoops, you have two guys back there who can manage the offense. Then you have the two running backs. But outside at wide receiver, we didn't get a chance last night to really get a look at Colin. Jake, I always say Jake is a clutch player. You look at the catches he made and where he was, and Hurd only caught one, but even Adoran Leonard, we still have guys, weapons that we didn't play a lot of last night that are really effective and going to really speed this offense up, and we can continue to get better, because the only thing we're going to do is get better and better and better. We got the first game now. We can build on it, correct some things, and make it better.
Is this what you expected when you hired him?
Oh, I expected this, because you just felt like that when you go up tempo and you have the players that we have, then you can spread people out. But we have a physical aspect to us also. I mean, that yards rushing last night, we had over 200 yards rushing, so we're going to pound people too. I mean, we'll speed them up and throw it when we need to. And then when you can run the ball the way we ran it, and you watch Burt run by people, then you're going to loosen up that defense, because either they're going to get a dose of guys running vertical, you get hit Burt on one, you hit Hurd on one down the pipe, and then the one that Money caught in the back of the end zone. So you're gonna be able to stretch the field.
Stay on the left, center.
Charlie, I know you're not going to face a Deshaun Kaiser every week, but what do you think the defense needs to clean up moving forward?
The thing is, you're right. I hope we don't face a Kaiser every week. He's a really an outstanding quarterback, and he made some. I think when they settled in and decided to go with him, I mean, he made some unbelievable throws. Big physical guy also that can run the ball. But just defensively, it's about separating off of blocks. We missed some key tackles. The one on the long run, we had the guy Penn, and then Malik did an unbelievable job of tracking him down and running down the running back. But we got to clean up our just coverage. They hit a couple of dig routes behind us where we was chasing the underneath route and then dropped and then a guy comes in where they high-low you. But it's just so many things to clean up where we just can't give up the big plays. We had a 3rd and 13 at one time and then we end up letting them convert on that. Then they end up throwing the ball the next couple of plays for a touchdown.
Charlie, you talk about belief, and you said last night the fans needed this. Do you feel like last night changed something for your team moving forward?
Well, what you always talk about when you get people to believe in you, you have to give them a reason to believe in you. And so last night, by winning that game, it took us, at least we took a step forward instead of going backwards. We went forward with it. And we just need to continue to build on that each and every week, because the more games you win, the more they're going to believe in you. And you're just hoping this can't be a one-night wonder. It won't be. We just got to make sure that as a staff and that we get our players to continue to believe in themselves, believe in their teammates, and believe in moving this program.
The middle, Steve.
Coach, you guys always say that the biggest step for a team is how much y'all grow between the first game and the second game. Talk about that a little bit. You just talked about it some, but tell us about where you guys have to get better.
To go from the first game, you got to make all your corrections, and start with the penalties. You can't have the foolish penalties, and then you got to take advantage offensively of the things that we had some drop balls, and we just got to take advantage of those opportunities. And we're going to get better on offense, because now you got the one game under you. Now you can speed it up more. You're going to be much quicker, and then but then on defense, it's all about where you got to shore up your tackling. You got to make sure that you gap sound, and you guys have to be able to separate off blocks. But you had to grow from game to game, and you had to get better from game to game. And you got to take this game, correct the mistakes, move on to the next one, and we can't have the same ones.
Run left, Max.
Charlie, you got 3 pretty tough road games here in the next month. How do you know that your players will not get complacent after something like this and feel like they've made it?
That's the battle that we're going to have, Max, because you go UTEP, and then you go to California, then you go Open, then you go to Oklahoma State, then you go back to Dallas. So for a month, we're going to be away from home. So now you're going to really need the leadership of your seniors, because you're not going to when you go to California, we'll have a good contingent there, but we're going to basically be on the road. Oklahoma State, they're going to have their crowd, and then Dallas at least is split down the middle. So we're going to have to really play well, and we're going to have to lean on our seniors for leadership, and some key guys. We're just going to have to step up, and then that's why now when you're on the road, it's all about you got to pack your defense, you got to pack your togetherness. There's so many things that you have to pack when you go on the road.
Back, Claire.
Saw the video in the locker room after the game. Can you kind of describe the atmosphere, and how often do the players pick you up and toss you up in the air like that?
Too much. No. No, the atmosphere in the game, after the game, I think that I had to go do a couple of things, and they was kind of waiting on me to get in the locker room. And then when I got in the locker room, they grabbed me and said, whoa, let me say some things first before we get into our celebration. But it was electric in there, and it was just so fun to see. And then, then it picked me up and started throwing me around. But it's, when you look at that, it was just almost like a sigh of relief that we finally got one that we needed to go get. It's like it's been sitting there, and then we've been waiting for so long, and it's always like we get to that point and something bad happened. So at halftime, I said, guys, we got to finish this game. It's 30 minutes of football left. I said, we're going to take a few hits. They're going to take a few hits, but at the end of the day, can we withstand it? And then we were able to do that. And then you see the celebration at the end, and for them to run off the field. And, because so many times we ran off the field, hanging our heads and, dropping our heads. But now it was just so fun to see that.
Middle, Roger.
Coach, Warwick and Oliver, are they a product of the system getting their chance, or what they have done for their opportunities?
You just love those two guys, Roger, because of the work that they have put into it. And, like Petey, Warwick, and you look at the one catch, almost scores on the first play there in overtime. Then he's my guy. The reason why he's back here catching punts is I know this. Number one, the ball's going to get caught, which I feel really good about that. And then he can make a guy miss and go take it. But he has, and he's done very well. And then you look at what Oliver has done. I think he has lost 24 pounds from last season. And he has, just look what he's done. And I always, I know that the defensive coaches get mad at me because I call him Mr. Clutch. When we get in the red zone against our defense, he eats them alive. They can't handle him because now he just never changes his speed. He comes off the ball, and you think he's running slow. Then all of a sudden he'll fade away touchdown. Shane gets it to him. Then the guys try to drop him underneath, and he goes over the top. The one we threw in the end zone where he didn't get back inside the guy, but Shane threw the ball where he thought he was going. Then he kind of faded away from him. But it's just, you know what, I'm so happy to see the way it's coming and how everything is working out for him now. He had a lot of catches in high school. He was the only receiver, I think, in camp that had over 100 catches because we charted him. He had like 100 catches and maybe 1 or 2 drops in the whole camp. So it's, I mean, it was, when we charted him to see, I think he was first and maybe either John Bird or Colin. It wasn't John Bird, but one of those other guys were second.
You've coached a couple true freshman QBs in the past, like Teddy and Tim, that have had a lot of success. Now that Shane's in that position, how do you prepare him for all the attention that comes with that role, especially at a place like Texas?
With Shane, I don't think it's going to bother him at all because he's one of those guys that he'll just stay true to who he is, and you know he has a good, strong family, and I think that they will help him manage that. But I don't think with him you're going to have to manage it because he's not one of those guys that even come off as a guy with an ego or guys who want to make it all about him. He's one of those guys that he's going to work to go get better, and this won't even faze him.
Far right, Anwar.
So, Coach, last year after the season opener, you told us how tough it was to talk to recruits. Now you had such a lot of people in there yesterday, over 100,000 folks. What was the reaction from some of those recruits last night?
Well, they were excited. I think this was probably one of the best recruiting days where we had all the recruits here to see this game and to just see the atmosphere. And that's what happens. In recruiting, the fans are going to win the recruits over for you by coming out like they did last night and yelling as loud as they yelled and just having that whole game day. And it was just fun for the recruits because you look at them and they were all, after the game, they were so excited. They're in the locker room jumping around. But it was great to see. Really good.
Back here on the left.
Charlie, this is only the 3rd time you guys have held a winning record at your tenure at Texas. What do you guys have to do to keep that winning record now?
Well, we've only played one game now, so Sean, it's one game. No, we got some more games to play, but we just got to continue to get better and play better.
Stay in the middle, Dennis.
Coach, I know it was only 10 hours ago or so, but any injury updates? I saw Nicholson obviously banged up. Any of the bigs going to be out?
Yeah, with Tristan and Perk, we still getting more information on them. I know Dylan went out where he hit the receiver down here with a head. I think that he'll be I know that we're checking him, but I feel pretty good with him. Even with the other 2, just don't know the length right now because our trainers, they're actually looking at them right now as we speak.
Time for 2 last ones. Start with Dennis on the left.
Charlie, last night you said you called Shane's mom, I think Saturday, and told her that he was going to start. That you met 2 days ago.
Saturday. Well, we played the game Sunday.
Right.
So I called her Friday night.
Okay, Friday night.
Friday night.
Shane said he found out yesterday. So was Mom sitting on it for 2 days, or?
That's what I told her. Don't tell Shane because he didn't need to know. But no, it was what I went to Shane and Swoops was I told them right before. But even before the game, you know what happens with their quarterback situation? They all know. Like the team, and that's what I can say about our team is how well they kept it under wrap, where they didn't expose it. Because you know what happens when you call the first group, or somebody's got to run out there, and nobody said anything. They kind of just looked around like, all right, who's it? But it did. But that's why we was talking about just an unselfish attitude. They knew whoever lined up at that position was going to be key. But no, I wanted them to know because I just knew how happy she would be.
2 last ones on the left.
Coach, what does Gerard Hurd need to do to progress moving forward?
Hurd, man, Hurd's he's working. He's just gonna be like the rest of them, just go get better. But he caught the one big one, but Hurd's an athlete. He can do a lot of different things. If I put him back there and let him run the kickoffs back, he could do that. But he is so talented.
Last one, John.
Coach, for the past couple of years, you've been talking about people getting on the boat because it's going to turn. I know you say it's one game, but is it time for folks to get on the boat?
Well, I just week by week, we should continue to get better. But our fans, last night you would say with the crowd that we had, that they're beginning to believe in what they're seeing and what they're hearing about and what's being written about our team. But it was great just to have that crowd, and each and every week you know, we may not pack it in like that, but I know we're going to have us a big crowd, because if our players continue to play the way they played last night, we improve and get better, then it's a whole lot of things that we can change and a whole lot of minds that we can change.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, thank you.